Talking with the experts.
Hello and welcome to Talking with the Experts. My name's Rose Davidson from rosedavidson.com, and Talking with the Experts is about all things business by business owners for business owners. And you can find it on all good podcasting streaming platforms and on YouTube. And today my guest is Kim Ades. And Kim is going to talk to us about how work-life balance is overrated. And Kim's surname is Ades. Sorry, I got it wrong the first time, but I should have read the intro first. Is the president and founder of Frame of Mind Coaching and Journal Engine, as it's a software company. It's recognized as an expert in the area of thought mastery and mental toughness. Kim uses her unique philosophy and quirky coaching style to help leaders identify their personal blind spots and to shift their thinking in order to yield extraordinary results. She's an author, a speaker, an entrepreneur, a coach, and mum of five. And Kim's claim to fame is teaching her powerful frame of mind coaching process to leaders, entrepreneurs, and influencers worldwide. Welcome, Kim, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you for having me. I'm excited to have this conversation. You positioned it as controversial, so amazing. Sounds like fun.
Yeah, I mean, people always advocate a work-life balance. So I'd really like your perspective on how you find it to be an overrated. Uh,
Concept.
yeah, yeah. Thank you.
Well, so let's explore the concept of balance for a minute. So I don't know what you have in your neck of the woods. I don't know if it's called a seesaw or a teeter-totter. But imagine that you're at a park and you see two kids on a seesaw. Do you call it a seesaw or a
Yes,
teeter-totter? A
yes,
seesaw.
Cecil.
And so they're going up and down, right?
Yep.
They're out of balance. They're having a good time. And what happens when they're in perfect balance?
Well, they're bored.
Nothing happens.
That's it. They're bored.
They're still. And so while that's awesome for moments, for seconds, for minutes, it's not good as a lifetime plan, right? Because that's not why we're here. We're not here because we're after this stillness. We're
No.
after a life with the ups and the downs. We're after the ride. We're after the excitement. So I think a lot of people are desperately seeking work-life balance. And I would say to them, let's look at it a little bit differently. How do we get you to enjoy the ride? How do we get you to feel okay when the bumps are high and low, right? How do you not fret or fear or get stressed out? Instead, really enjoy the ride and live a life of passion as opposed to a life of balance.
Yeah,
And
that
that's
makes
really
perfect sense. Yeah.
right.
And
But
so they would need some emotional resilience to be able to do that, wouldn't they?
well, that's exactly it. So, what is emotional resilience? Emotional resilience is the ability to bounce back from adversity with speed and agility. But my work has shown me that it's even a little bit more. Is that not only is it the ability to bounce back, but it's the ability to leverage the adversity and turn it into an advantage. So you've had something bad happen to you. Okay, we fall. We all fall. We all have bad things happen to us. The question is, what do we do with that experience? How do we turn it into a key learning or an advantage somehow? How do we package it up and run with it? Because we need to turn it into something useful. And when people are able to turn it into something useful, they thrive. When it's a consistent sore or thorn in their side, they are not thriving.
No, that's also very true. I have a thorn in my side, and yeah, it's sometimes it bothers me that I can't get rid of it. But it's one of those things. It's the balance. You need to find that balance, I guess, and what's painful and what
Oh,
isn't.
you don't need to find the balance. So tell me about the thorn in your side, if you're willing.
Yeah, I guess it's yeah, well, it's trying to find that balance between my personal life and my work life. It's I've got an unwell husband, and so I need to find time to run my podcast, run my business, and look after him at the same time. So it's not an easy thing to try and juggle. So
So whenever anyone says, I'm looking for balance. Or what you're really saying is, I'm having a hard time managing the hours in the day, the time. Am I right about that?
Yeah, pretty much.
Then really what that's about is that that's a shield or a layer, an over layer for what's underneath that. And what's underneath that is a set of beliefs about your circumstances. So, for example, you and I, we have the same amount of hours in the day. But you know who else has the same amount of hours in the day? Richard Branson. Look at how much he accomplishes in a lifetime with the same hours in the day. And what's different about you and me and Richard Branson? He thinks differently about his hours in the day and what he needs to accomplish, what resources he can access, what he needs to do versus someone else. And so what we're really talking about when we feel strapped for time and we feel out of balance, right? That desperate need to kind of make everything equal out is that we have a set of beliefs that prevent us from tapping into valuable resources that could really help us along the way.
Yep.
And that's what I'm always interested in when people say, I don't have no time. I'm strapped. I'm stuck.
Yeah, that's a very interesting way of looking at it. That's very intriguing. I'd like to talk to you a little bit more about that.
I'd be happy to.
Yeah, well, so how do you view like journaling? I don't journal. I don't do that. I find it really, it's just not something that I am comfortable doing. But how can business owners utilize this skill to reach their goals?
So let me share with you how we coach people and then I'll back it up. Okay. So usually first of all, we coach leaders. We coach the highly driven population and people who tend to want to achieve really big goals, people who want to make a massive difference in the world, people who want to experience all the greatest things that life has to offer, and people who are frustrated because they aren't quite where they want to be, because people don't quite understand them, because they feel sometimes isolated, like they have the world of responsibility on their shoulders, and they feel this feeling of being stuck, like why aren't things moving faster? So those are the people I coach. And so the question is, how do we coach them? We always start off with only a 10-week coaching period. People say, why only 10 weeks? Is that enough? And I'll say, leaders like speed. They like to move fast. They want results fast, and they don't want to commit to a lifetime experience. 10 weeks is a good start. And so in those 10 weeks, we have a call every week. We record every call and we ask our clients to listen to the recording. Why do we do that? So that our clients can hear themselves speak, hear how they sound, the words they use, the stories they tell, and start to become observers of how they show up in the world. The second thing we do is we ask our clients to journal in an online journal every single day with their coach. So what happens is we give them a journaling prompt at the beginning of the process or at the beginning of the week, and they start journaling. And every time they journal, their journal goes back to their coach, who then reads and responds to the journal every single day. So what happens when a person journals? First of all, every time I journal, I'm slowing down my thoughts because my fingers can't type as fast as my brain goes. Secondly, when I ask my clients to journal, I'm asking them to focus on a question. And normally we don't give ourselves the time or the space to focus on the important stuff, the important questions. Now, when they're doing that every single day, you know what happens? They make rapid progress. It's astonishing. When they do it with a coach, it's even faster because they're reflecting on what they're doing, what they're saying, what they're thinking, what they're believing, their patterns, etc. And they're moving the barriers out of the way. Right? And so what is journaling? It's a process of self-reflection. And really, one of the greatest things that prevents us from achieving our goals is a lack of awareness. We're not aware of what's getting in our way because we just go about our day doing, 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 doing. We don't stop to think. We don't stop to reflect. And that really is a massive problem in the world because we're so busy all the time.
Yeah,
Right?
probably busy being busy a lot of the times, I would think.
Well, that's exactly right.
Yeah, we're not busy being constructive.
Well, and sometimes it takes a moment to slow down in order to really speed up. But we hardly ever give ourselves a moment to slow down. If we do, we go on vacation. We spend a fortune on a vacation. We go, we drink, we eat, we sunbathe, we come back, and we're just as tired as when we left.
Absolutely. Yes, you come back to work to have a vacation from the vacation.
Exactly, exactly. And so, what I'm asking people to do is take a break from your routine and give yourself a chance to really look at how you're operating, how you feel, how you're reacting and responding to things. When you get upset, what is it that is upsetting you? What are the patterns you fall into? How do you react when people say different things or behave in different ways? What are your triggers? And learn about yourself, because that information is almost like, the gold that you need to move forward. It's the key success factor, really, that helps you move at a much more rapid pace.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I might try that. Make me slow down a little bit and think about, where I'm going, because I don't do a lot of self-reflection. So this might slow me down and change some of my thinking patterns and behavioral patterns. It might work.
I'll tell you what, how about if I give you and your audience an exercise? Is that a good idea?
Sure.
Okay. So I'm going to give you a journaling exercise. And guys, grab a piece of paper and a pen and write this down. Okay. So I'm going to give you 2 questions. Question number 1, ask yourself, what do I really, really want more than anything? Now, you notice that I put 2 reallys in there. That was on purpose because I want you to think about what you truly deeply want inside, not what somebody wants for you, not what you think you should want, not what is expected of you, but what do you truly deeply want? Don't be afraid to say it. Now, the second question is, so what's standing in my way of having what I want right now? And write down all the reasons. And what you're going to notice is all those reasons are a reflection of your beliefs about what you're allowed to have and what you can't have, what you're equipped to have and what you're not equipped to have, what you believe you deserve and what you believe you don't yet deserve, and on and on and on. That list is a great starting point for identifying the barriers that you're creating that are preventing you from the success and the goals that you want to reach.
Yes, it's really odd that you should mention that, because I actually had a dream this morning, like before I woke up this morning, about this very topic, and that seems to, like, I don't know, it's a coincidence.
Is it though?
Wow, there you go. I don't, because I hadn't read your whole the whole thing about what we were going to be discussing, and journaling, yeah, and I don't journal, and yeah, I was in my dream, I was doing that, and we were discussing the questions that you asked. So how very odd.
I'll even offer people one more thing. If you have the courage to not only answer these questions, but send them to me, I will personally reply.
Oh, wow, that's wonderful. That is
And you know why I
wonderful.
offer this?
Thank
People
you.
say, wow, Kim, how can you offer this? I'll tell you why. Because most people don't take me up on it.
Ah, okay, that's a wonderful offer. Now, you do have some advice for business owners who are also parents, because I know years ago, I owned a small retail food business, and I was trying to bring up 3 kids, go to school, and work full time outside of the retail business. So for me, it was really, really challenging. So what advice have you got for other parents that are running a business?
And as you know, you mentioned earlier, I have 5 kids. My kids are older now, but I've been running my business for the past 16 years. So I understand the challenge of trying to run a business and trying to run a household. I understand that. And so my greatest piece of advice is that it's not so much what you do and what you accomplish that really matters. It's how present you are where you are. So how many times you're at home trying to be with your kids, feed your kids, take care of your kids, do the things that you're doing with your kids, but your mind is somewhere else. You're missing the moment. How many times are you at work and you're stressed out because your kids, forgot their lunch or is having a tough day or whatever it is, and you're not focused at work? And so really the question becomes not, what is my productivity level, but what is my presence level? How focused am I where I am right now? So like right now for me, the only thing there is you. That's it. There are no distractions. There are no other things I'm thinking about. There's no other conversation I'm having. I'm completely present. And really, people struggle with the idea of presence because they measure their lives, the quality of their lives by how much they accomplish as opposed to how rich their moments are. And I want to encourage people to milk your moments. Enjoy this right here, right now. Have passion in this moment. Be conscious of the fact that this moment is very fleeting. It's not going to come back. If if you and I talk again at another point, it's going to be a different conversation. It's not going to be exactly the same.
No, no, that's one of the things that I'm sad about, that because I was doing so much, I wasn't present, and wasn't emotionally there for my kids. I was always thinking about other stuff,
Right.
and
So my advice
I was
is
only
be
half
where you
listening to
are.
their needs. So it's and it's now it's hit home, because my kids have left home, and then we're not as close as I would have liked because I wasn't there present.
Right. And what happens when you're not present? They learn not to be present.
Absolutely, yeah. It's My kids are the same. Anyway, that's another story for another time.
But you know what? All these stories add up. All these stories are connected and linked
They are.
together, right? And so really what am I talking about? When I coach leaders, I'm really talking about the quality of their lives. Are their relationships as rich as they could be? Are they the best parents they want to be? Are they leading their team the way they could be and making an impact in the world? Are they having fun? Are they enjoying their lives? I'm interested in that because the richer your life is as a leader, the more impact you have, the more successful you are, the more your business thrives.
Yeah, I agree with that. I agree with having fun in your business. I don't agree with you know, being in a position where you're just going there for the dollars and not actually going there because you're enjoying what you're doing. And that impacts not only on yourself, but it impacts your team, because they can tell that you're not 100% there and you're not 100% happy. So yeah, that
Absolutely.
has a lot to do with it. I do believe that. Okay, so you have written a book, I can see, Kim. So can we talk about that a little bit?
Sure. So it's called What You Focus on Grows, Stories for Your Frame of Mind. And so it's a book of short stories. And really, what it is it takes the reader through a series of journeys. And what I'm really trying to do with every story is challenge the reader to think about average, normal things in a very different way. Right? So that's the goal. Uh, Average experiences to really notice their magic. I'm an observer, so I could be at a restaurant or in a train station. I can observe a situation happening in front of me and understand that there's a lesson to learn or a perspective here that's very unusual. And I want to share that with the readers. And really, what I'm trying to do is build a new muscle for the reader, which is to look at things in a new way. So, we all see things in one way, but we know that we can see things in multiple ways. The way we see things will impact our experiences. And so, what choice are you making in how you're seeing things? Are you seeing things in a way that serves you, or are you seeing things in a way that feels bad or shuts you down? You can choose. What are you doing? And this is really the idea of building the mental muscle. The mental muscle makes choices every day. So, what choices are you making on a day to day, moment by moment basis? And when you have a strong mental muscle, you're making choices that fuel you, that bring you health and wellness, as opposed to anything else.
Well, great book. Where's it available?
It's on Amazon, but yeah, it's the best place to look for it. It's called What You Focus On Grows.
Beautiful. Love it. I love the title, and I love what the concept of it is. It sounds really great. And I can see that you're almost everywhere on socials, and your website
Almost.
is
You want to hear
almost.
something? We just started a new TikTok.
Oh no, you haven't got on TikTok.
We're on TikTok. I'm not the face on TikTok. We have a younger, fresher, much more beautiful face. But it's a young person who is going through our coaching program. We certify people in our coaching method, and she's super excited, loves what she's learning. And she said, "Hey, can I start TikTok?" And I was terrified because I'm like, "What do we put on TikTok? How do we do this?" And she just took it and ran with it. I was super excited about it.
Oh, excellent. Yeah, well, as long as it's working for you, that's a good thing, I guess. I mean,
I don't know yet. It's brand new.
yeah, well, we'll see. Let me know how it goes.
I will.
But they can find you on Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, Instagram, YouTube, and on your website is frameofmindcoaching.com. Wow, lots of places. Have you got
Lots of
anything,
places.
final words that you'd like to share, Kim, today with our
I
audience?
have a whole bunch of things. First of all, I want to also share that I have a podcast called the Frame of Mind Coaching Podcast. And I invite leaders to be my guests who are willing and wanting to be coached on the podcast live and in person. So they come on the podcast, they share a challenge, and right there in the moment, I provide them with some coaching. So if anybody's interested in a little bit of coaching and has the desire to be on the podcast, please reach out to me. We're always looking for guests. My email address is kim@frameofmindcoaching.com. But final words of wisdom is this, is that when you're going about your life and you're doing the things you're doing, whether it's raising your kids or building your business or in a relationship with your partner or spouse, and you find yourself feeling frustrated, annoyed, impatient, exhausted, whatever the feelings are, the negative feelings, understand that what's happening isn't the cause of those feelings. It's simply that your thinking is turned away from what you want, and that it's your thinking that's causing the negative emotion. And so when that happens, I urge you to go and write it down. Write down what happened and what's causing you to feel that way, and start to examine the beliefs that are fueling your emotion. Because at the end of the day, your beliefs will determine what you do and what you don't do, what you feel and what you don't feel. And when you don't feel good, start to examine the beliefs that you have that may not be aligned with your goals or your deepest desires. So those are my thoughts for the day.
Ah, thank you, Kim. That they're actually great thoughts, and thank you for sharing your podcast with us too. And please, anyone that wants a bit of coaching from Kim, please make yourself available to her. And her email address is kim@frameofmindcoaching.com, and she'll reach out to you and set you up with a date on her podcast. Thank you so much, Kim. I've really enjoyed our conversation today, and I might actually take you up on your coaching offer.
Please do. It would be my pleasure. Thank
All
you so
right.
much for
Well, thank
having
you
me.
again, and I will put you in my little list of talk tos later on in the year. I actually have a pile where I have kept people I want to engage with again. So you'll go in that little pile.
Well, maybe I'll put myself at the top of the pile.
All right. You take care, and you have a lovely evening.
Thank you so much. It was great talking to you.
Bye, Kim.